What is up everybody, DYVN here, music producer and beatmaker from Berlin. Today I want to talk about 5 very important tips and tricks how to stay inspired and how to stay motivated as a producer. Let's dive in. So here's 5 super important tips that I wish somebody would have told me earlier in my life. Stay tuned till the end of the video for the most important one. I think that's the reason why I'm doing YouTube, so that I can wink and make this sound. Number 1, have a vision. Alright, so first for me it was super hard in the beginning to know where I want to start. So for that it's super important to actually know where you want to go. Most people will tell you, just do it. Just start. But I always thought that was easier said than done if you don't know where to start, right? So my 3 cents of wisdom here is, only if you know your destination, you can know your route. We'll get to that more in depth in the next step. So in having a vision, I set a specific and realistic goal for myself. For example, my goal for this year, my personal goal, is to release 1 song every month. It's not super hard for me, but it's quite challenging. So I have to work hard to achieve my goal, but it's doable and it's still enjoyable and it's easy to remember. So having a vision means knowing your destination. Tip number 2, having a route map. So after you figured out where you want to go, you need to know where you stand at right now. And then you find your route backwards from your destination to where you're at. So is this understandable? Let's go on a little adventure trip together. Imagine you want to climb a mountain, right? And you're in the physical stage that allows you to climb that mountain. You're at the foot of the mountain and you know that you want to get to the peak. And although sure, it's going to be rocky along the way, sorry I had to, having a route map to actually figure out the way how to get there, not the exact way, but a certain idea of how to get there will be very helpful. Now, in order to get that route map, mentally picture that way backwards from the top of that mountain to where you're at right now. So all you need to do now is go forward and walk the steps that you just imagined. What I'm trying to say here is always focus on where you're at right now and where you want to go and what your next few steps will be. Don't try to climb the mountain at once, but try to focus on your next step. That being said, always be flexible, okay? So if there's a tree falling down, move around it. So work your path. Tip number 3, get started right away. It's a very hard number to say, by the way, if you're not a native speaker. So let's go back from that mountain to our little home studio. Get started right away. Don't wait for that magical moment or like an epiphany or some sort of legitimizer to get you started. Don't wait on that to come to you. It's not gonna happen. You gotta pick up your instrument or your machine, your phone, or whatever you want to use to record music, okay? Just start messing around with it, just try out things and just get in the flow. So basically what I'm saying here is forget my first and my second tip and just get started. No, of course not. But you need to at some point pick up your stuff. I tend to plan my things a lot and then I often have a hard time finding that point to actually start a project, start a new song or anything. You know, I have some ideas what kind of song I want to make. I have some instruments or some sounds I want to use, but I don't know where to start. And I think that's an important point. You never know when to start. And if you don't know where to start, subscribe to my channel. Alright, so speaking of my channel, I, for example, never knew how to start a YouTube channel. So I just started out with something that I already knew, you know? I just made a music video because I've done that a couple of times. And from there, I already had a beginning, and from that I could build on top. And here we are, I got my channel. Tip number 4, don't be afraid to be you. We all have our favorite artists, okay? Like our heroes that we look up to, that at some point we want to swap lives with because we want to be them. To see how their heads work and how they became the geniuses that they are. Geniuses, they are not. Sorry for the terrible Master Yoda impression. The key to becoming as good as your hero is to not just copy them, but actually be yourself. Let your surroundings, your thoughts, and most importantly, your own feelings inspire you. That's right, this is some real Star Wars Jedi type philosophy here. We all listen to music because we want to feel something, no matter if we want to be relaxed or go outside or chill with our friends or go to parties. So what those artists that we listened to did when doing any of those activities, that they created their perfect soundtrack to those activities. Think about why you admire your favorite artists. It's probably because they're very unique, right? And just imagine how they became as unique as they were. Well, as easy as it sounds, they're just being themselves. The takeaway here is our best shot at becoming the artist that people will be excited about is just to be brave enough to be ourselves and let our true feelings influence our creations rather than copying other artists. Because otherwise we'll never have an original feeling in our song. I just realized I should have put in a Star Wars action figure here, not a Ninja Turtle. Tip number 5. Tip number 5. Tip number 5. Let's be consistent. Perfection will come along the way. No one is born a star or a master. Neither a Jedi master nor a music master. We all need to start somewhere, okay? So, my first song did not sound good at all. For that, it is super important to be consistent. I've had so many music projects in my life and I always, at some point, felt like they were going nowhere, so I quit. Start a new project. I think when you realize that something's really going nowhere, start over. But just have in mind that you need to be consistent to actually get somewhere. Just remember that mountain in the beginning. You need to climb it to get to the top, right? Don't give up ever. Even if it sucks in the beginning, everybody sucks in the beginning. Your music won't all of a sudden just like that sound great, but rather it'll consistently sound better and better, and it's gonna be a smooth transition so that you at some point when you look back at your first song you will see, oh, I got better. So keep your first songs as a point of reference. Listen to them once in a while and you know what I mean. For example, I've got my first song still on my SoundCloud. It's set on private, you'll never hear it, but just for myself I sometimes click on it and I'm like, okay, it's not been bad, but it's definitely not been good. So be consistent, keep doing what you already do. I'm sure it's great. And if not, it doesn't matter. It's gonna be great, believe me. So that was it from me for today. I hope I inspired you guys a little bit. If I did, leave a like, stay focused, and I'll see you guys in the next one.